Cyberpunk. What is that? What does that mean? Is it healthier than a steamed punk? No. Well, maybe. Unlike steampunk, atompunk, or biopunk, the punk in cyberpunk isn't a worthless suffix. Cyber is the prefix. It's punk with cyber elements. Punks use body mods for self-expression, and cyberpunks use biomods for self-expression. The term comes from Cyberpunk 2020, a tabletop game that asks, what if the rule of cool actually rules?
An impressive cop.
I held a teenage hipster grudge against this game for a while. I was annoyed by the public perception of games like Skyrim and Fallout 4 as the pinnacle of gaming, and I assumed this was going to be the same story. Go to E3, lie about your game being a deep RPG where your choices actually really matter, then drop a barely functional product and abscond with all the money before anyone realizes you just made an action game. Except, instead of having the mod community do their job for them, they just fixed it themselves. So, do I take back what I said? No, I was right, but I was visited by 3 ghosts, and now I know what fun is. And as a fun action game where the rule of cool overshadows the role-playing elements, this is a Preem experience. All the core elements are perfectly executed. It is not the game they marketed, but I don't pay attention to that shit. So let's just dive right in, shall we? You play as Ichiban in his quest to silence the voices after plugging a random USB drive directly into his skull. Now it's a race against time to find his antipsychotics before Keanu Reeves takes over his brain. Cyberpunk uses the tried and true format for modern RPGs. Go to the quest marker, murder everyone, then go to the next quest marker. Is this bad design? Maybe. But much like Little Caesars, it's really fun when you ain't got a gonk in your ear telling you it's mid. This game's art style is phenomenal. I'm putting out a hit on everyone who spammed this image. This isn't cyber utopian futurism, it's cyberpunk. And this cyberpunk aesthetic is perfectly realized. Weapons are sleek yet functional, vehicles are ostentatious yet familiar, and the city is what would actually happen if you combine Tokyo, a good city, with San Francisco, the worst city. Some good vibes here and there, but mostly crime. My main gripe is that it's called Night City, but there's a day-night cycle, and the daytime looks like shit. I don't go outside for a reason, and that reason is the sun. I don't care how well it's simulated. This game was a high-profile example of ray tracing, and now supports newer NVIDIA technologies like DLSS. So naturally it looks great on a technical level and runs like a dream. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. I had just gotten used to it. There's a few texture glitches, and the eye adjustment is completely fucked up, but it looks great overall, especially since YouTube's video compression is hiding all the little flaws and artifacts. Sound design. It's quite nice. Everything sounds how it should, but it gets upstaged in creativity by the TV show. This soundtrack fucking slaps. There's a clear Mick Gordon influence in the way it mixes synth with metal. It's at its best when it sounds like club music, because that's what this is. Not a firefight, but the hardest mosh pit this city has ever seen. This game's combat is fucking Preem. And since combat is like 90% of the game, we've got a lot to break down. For starters, the basic gunplay is just Pavel has done it again. Guns are fun to use with a good sense of feedback, arenas include a lot of verticality, and tons of explosive red barrels, which automatically make a game good. Enemy variety? Good. The various gangs and factions all have their own sense of identity, like Tiger Claws use smart weapons, speed implants, and blades. The animals are roided up melee goons. Maelstrom is chrome to the nines, and the Corps use more robots and turrets. The enemies always have a good sense of team composition and teamwork. Snipers and machine gunners keep you pinned down, while shotgunners, melee goons, and grenadiers try to flush you out. And netrunners lure you into the fray by casting magical debuffs on you. Weapon variety? Good. There's even a variety of guns in the variety of guns. Tech weapons are railguns, using the sheer force of fucking magnets to rail Japanese chicks. A fully charged shot can punch through just about anything, including cover. This pairs beautifully with the various options for scouting levels and tagging enemies. Smart weapons fire computer-guided precision gyrojets. Unless you forgot the smart link. Then you're just role-playing an Australian. These weapons get better with intelligence, making them a great option for scrawny nerds. You don't need to be fast, tough, or even accurate. The gun does it for you. Power weapons are the conventional firearms we all know and love. There's no wall bangs, no auto-aim, just gun. Bullets tend to ricochet, but with a ballistic coprocessor, you can calculate their exact trajectory. Isn't it easier to just click on people? Yes, but the rule of cool demands that I bankshot gonks with my mastery of bullet billiards. Oh hey look, each firearm technology has a way to help you aim. Wow, great design. Here's another one. Shooting any gun costs stamina. Low stamina means low accuracy. This exposes the gunplay to the rest of the RPG mechanics in a way that overlaps with the melee and mobility stuff. So stamina upgrades are useful for any build, from the arthritic corner camper to the supersonic walking blender. You ever brought a knife to a gunfight? Yeah, it doesn't end well. Cyberpunk has two solutions for this. Go full cybermancy, or become the average husband. When I come home from a long day of work, is it really that much to fucking ask there be some goddamn food on the table? Of course, if you'd rather hack the planet, install a cyberdeck today. Control cameras, blow up barrels, control cars, blow up cars, fuck with peeps' brains, blow up their brains, hit their off switch, or make them do it themselves. Now with a combat system this fleshed out, you'd expect the stealth to be pretty bare bones, but no, this is probably the best stealth system I've seen in a game like this. Usually if an action game has some stealth mechanics, they either awkwardly coexist with the action stuff, or their implementation is so bare bones, they just make the NPCs dumb as rocks to accommodate it. Cyberpunk has one major trick for making stealth viable. Give the player options. Levels often have multiple routes and side entrances you can slip through. You can hack cameras to tag guards and scout out the area. There's a lot of hackable distractions lying around, and a sizable collection of stealth-related quick hacks. All of these tools give you good control over the AI, which is predictable enough to sneak around, but not overly stupid. If you use a traceable quick hack, it'll start a trace timer that will instantly put you into combat when the timer finishes. This prevents you from just stealth deleting everyone from another area code, but it doesn't completely shut down stealth hacking. And finally, failing stealth doesn't feel like a punishment. There's no ghost bonus you're missing out on, your allies don't chastise you too much for getting spotted, and the gunfights are just plain fun. My stealth playthrough wasn't carried by my F9 key. When I got spotted, it was just like, shame. It's also worth noting that this game has a true knight sense of chivalry when it comes to stealth. Most games like this will have sections where you're just 100% detected, because the devs don't want you undermining their sick action sequence. I only noticed this in retrospect because the only time it happens is in the DLC. Yes, I love playing a spy thriller where my spy character is completely useless because you've thrown them into multiple back-to-back all-out gunfights and a massive boss battle.
Are you fucking for real? It's soft locked.
Now, I've got to confess a bias here. I am a sucker for upgrade systems, and a massive sucker for cybernetic implant upgrade systems. I knew I'd have fun gaining XP and watching the numbers go up, but I did not expect the systems to be this well designed. Usually, a perk tree system looks like this. There's 3 trees for 3 different playstyles, and all the perks in that tree are only really relevant to that playstyle. So you pick a playstyle, then go all the way down that tree. If you do this, I'm putting you on a no-fly list because you are clearly mentally disturbed. In Cyberpunk, each tree has 3 columns. These perks are relevant to each other, but not intrinsically tied to each other. You'd expect the melee strength stat to just have melee buffs, but instead it's got perks for blunt melee, health, and shotguns. These are all obviously useful for a melee build, but they're also useful for a lot of other builds. A hacking build can use overclock to trade health for mana, so you could spec into body for those health buffs, or you could grab some tech for the healing item buffs. The overlap between the perk trees gives you a ton of options for how you build your character. Like say you want to maximize mobility and time slow effects. You could use SMGs since they're right there, but that's really hard to control. So maybe you spec into intelligence and grab the smart weapon perk so you don't have to aim, or body for the shotgun perks and use your mobility to close the gap, or cool for the pistol perk so you can feel like a badass. Oh, fuck no. Greaseman, get ye gone! Greaseman, get ye gone! There's also a lot of great design in the perks themselves. Like the stealth perks don't just reduce your detection chance, they turn mitigation chance, a combat stat for avoiding damage, into a stealth stat for avoiding detection. This gives some combat abilities value during stealth, and stealth abilities value during combat. Some perks buff weapon types, while other perks buff weapon technologies, allowing you to even further specialize your build into a specific weapon. The other half of character building is the cyberware. The tabletop apple didn't fall far from the D&D tree, so these are just magic items. We've got the Ring of Invisibility, Boots of Speed, Wand of Fireballs, even the attunement mechanic. The game has a wide variety of interesting choices, and you're encouraged to swap out your crumb to see what works.
私には触れないことだ。
There are 3 types of operating system. Cyberdecks enables spell casting with hacking with RAM. Sandevistan slows down time for everyone but you, and Berserk lets you
Rip and tear until it is done.
These are the only active abilities in the game. Why? Because it was designed for controllers. You can't have hotkeyed superpowers without hotkeys. That said, the perks in cyberware are designed to account for this. They're not just generic stat buffs, a lot of them are some kind of contextual effect. For example, Kerenzikov. It activates if you aim while sliding. Is it practical? Not really, but it's sick as fuck, and that's what matters here. Normally I'd bring up gameplay criticisms here, but I've already fixed them with mods. It does beg the question though, why was it like this in the first place? There's a few issues from the whole designed for controller thing, but the only major issue is the gun balance. I'm using this mod because the base game balances every single weapon around its theoretical damage per second. I am fucking tired of games doing this. If I equip an automatic weapon, I want to kill things faster. Funny thing is, the stamina system already balances out the high rate of fire. A high rate of fire does more damage, but costs more stamina. You don't have to nerf my fucking damage. I feel like this illustrates the game's overall design philosophy. The guns, melee, hacking, stealth upgrades, and cyberware aren't really designed as tools for you to solve different problems, but rather as toys in a toy box for you to choose how you want to have fun. Teenage me would have said that as a scathing indictment of this game's focus on action over role-playing. But again, I'm capable of having fun. And it's a testament to Pavel's hard work and experience that no matter which toy you pull from the toy box, you will have fun. Now, I've been saying this isn't really an RPG, but what does that even mean? It's got numbers, quests, an open world, sounds like an RPG to me. But there's not much role-playing in this game. Just set dressing. For example, I shoot up some tiger claws, and the game goes, "Oh, they won't forget this." Yeah, they will. Your character origin and dialogue choices have almost no bearing on the story. The game just pretends they do by occasionally reminding you, hey, you made a choice at some point. Because this isn't a role-playing game. It's an action game. And hot take, I'm fine with that. Not every game needs to be New Vegas. Cyberpunk could have been structured like that, but that costs money. They focused on action, and the RPG side suffered. Teenage me would definitely hate that and see it as a symbol of everything wrong with the industry. But right now, I got Baldur's Gate, dude. I am chillin'. Alright, story time. Without spoilers, I'll say it's lovely. The first-person cutscenes are great, the voice acting and animation is full of charm and character, and the plot gives a lot to talk about, which I'm gonna do right now. Spoiler time.
The cavalry has arrived.
Oh, fuck you! The game opens with you stealing a top-secret experimental biochip from one of the world's largest corporations. The casing gets damaged, you slot it into your head, and your boss follows it up with a bullet. Luckily, the relic is Arasaka's secret to eternal life. You upload your brain onto a computer, and then upload that brain into a lifeless meat sack. Unluckily, you're the meat sack in this equation. You have weeks to live before the chip completely overwrites your brain into someone else's. And whose brain would that be? Johnny Silverhand, the famous rocker boy from the far-off year of 2023, who, after missing out on that year's hit new Chris Nolan film, thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And yes, the elephant in the room, Johnny is played by Keanu Reeves.
Well, we get what we fucking deserve.
This industry loves clinging on to Hollywood celebrities in a desperate bid for legitimacy.
Awesome. Thanks, nigga.
Like, it's not enough to be the largest entertainment sector. No, people still see games as stupid kids' toys, so we've got to jingle keys in their face until they think a $500 box with no games is a reasonable use of their money. Now, that being said, this game does it well. Celebrity cameos in games usually suck for three main reasons.
The wizard's here.
Number 1, it's fucking whack. The intended effect is for you to soy face and go, ooh, I recognize that actor. Number 2, these are actors, not voice actors.
That wizard came from the moon.
There's a big difference, but nobody cares. That's why Chris Pratt voices everything now, including this video. And number 3, the high price tag these actors command slurps budget away from the actual game. So the game will have issues, and that beloved celebrity will have 5 minutes of screen time. So, how does Cyberpunk dodge these issues? Well, for one, Keanu Reeves is appropriate for the role, and his character is well written and interesting. From the trailer, you'd expect him to just be, oh, the coolest, most perfect guy ever, because holy shit, you guys, we got Keanu Reeves in our game. But no, he's kind of a giant douche nozzle, but that makes him interesting. He's the ghost of a man who treated his friends like shit and never got to say goodbye before being tortured to death and unceremoniously chucked into an oil field. Oh yeah, let's not forget the whole nuclear terrorist thing. The lore refers to this event as the Night City Holocaust. Could you fucking imagine Dwayne contractually cannot lose Johnson doing that? No. 2, Keanu gives a good performance, though it took a little getting used to. Alright Keanu, you're being electrocuted to death. You feel a white-hot, excruciating pain in every single one of your 7 trillion nerve cells. And action! What? I always assumed his overly deliberate speaking cadence in John Wick was just him, acting, but that's just kinda how he talks.
A box.
You're a fucking box.
3, as discussed, this game slaps, so Reeves' price tag clearly didn't do much damage. Actually, I just remembered the original release. Okay, yeah, maybe it did. But I'm covering the game I played, and I played a game full of Keanu Reeves. He's a constant presence throughout the story, and even pops up during minor quests. He might disagree with your approach to things, but he's not the one in charge. Yet. So you've really gotta hurry up and get rid of that chip. Overall, he does occasionally steal the show, but he's a rock star. That's literally his job.
Best pussy I ever ate.
This game has done permanent psychic damage to me with its slang.
Leave me alone!
My favorite is delta. It comes from we gotta move, like we got a delta, but in math, delta represents a rate of change, and in programming, that's used for movement. Pavel took the writing in a very unexpected direction for a sci-fi story, and I think it paid off. First off, the relic uploads your brain into a new body. A lesser story would make that the main thematic focus. Is this actual immortality or just a copy? Where does the body end and soul begin? It kills you. The machine just kills you. That's a given. It's literally called Soul Killer. Because this isn't a sci-fi story about some magic MacGuffin. It's a story about terminal illness. We're not focused on massive societal conspiracies or the implications of some radical new technology. Instead, Cyberpunk's themes are centered around mortality and identity. Night City is where people go to get filthy rich or die trying, but you're dying either way. Does dying famous help? It didn't help Johnny. And as his brain slowly takes over yours, at what point do you stop being you? At the hollow point, apparently, because I clicked the wrong button and got the stupid ending. The story is quite good and worth talking about, but at the same time, I want to be done with this fucking video. So that was Cyberpunk 2077. I bought it for some dumb fun, and I got my fucking money's worth. Maybe it was overhyped, maybe it was bad at launch, but I didn't have to play that. That's why we ignore E3, ignore award shows, ignore journalists, never pre-order anything, and only play what we want when we want. Thank you for watching. It's been a while, huh? Yeah, I'm not happy about it either. I'm sorry. Don't have an excuse. I don't know. ADHD kicked my ass. I had a breakdown. No fucking idea what happened. Hopefully, we will have more videos soon. Love you guys.